We will call the Special Finance Committee called for tonight, January 12th at 5:45. Clerk, if you'll take roll, please.
Ms. Lang?
Here.
Mr. Rollins?
Present.
Mr. R. Smith?
Here.
This special meeting was called because the city auditor made a statement last week that she no longer wanted ADP as the payroll operating system. Before we move on, we have one item on the agenda, Finance 3 retirement funding. Clerk, if you'll read, please.
An ordinance authorizing the full release of appropriations to retirement funds during the first quarter of the fiscal year 2026.
This ordinance is coming from the Budget Finance and the Police and the Fire Department. We have members that will be, two that retired last week on January 11th and one that will be retiring in February. And so we need to release the 100% of the retirement funds so that we can process those retirements going forward. Is there any questions?
Chair. I guess first, thank those gentlemen for their years of service to the Marion community. Second, apologize that not only do we have to have this legislation, but we have to have a packed room in order to do something that really should be normal, everyday business for the city auditor's office. So, but I do appreciate you all coming out. That's all I have on this.
Motion, I'll make a motion to send this on to council.
Second.
Clerk, take a roll, please.
Ms. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Rollins?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Recommendation to approve?
Yes, recommendation approved, please. Moving on to item number 2, discussion on fixing ADP issues. So like I said, this meeting was called because the auditor said that she didn't like ADP and she wanted to get rid of it. City's having issues with payroll and wanted to give her a week to come up with a plan to resolve the issues. So I called this special meeting so that we could see what plan she's put into place. But the auditor is not here tonight. We have the deputy auditor here. So Mr. Watts, do you have a plan for moving forward?
I don't have a plan. I can tell you what the problem is, though.
So have the payroll issues been resolved?
No. The problem is we have a contract with ADP, but only for payroll, or only for pay. We don't have, the contract does not extend to benefits. Benefits has to be run out of New World. So we're basically running 2 programs right now. We're running New World payroll and we're running ADP payroll because ADP will not do the benefits.
So have we had conversations with ADP? Have you had conversations with ADP?
I have not had them with ADP.
Has Miranda had conversations with ADP?
Yes. They do not do benefits. So they send us the information. We send them the payroll. We do the payroll, send them the information. They send us back the benefit package. The benefit package does not go into New World. It has to be put in by hand. Over 7,000 entries per pay. So I don't know what a plan would be to get that fixed. You could either get ADP to do the benefit plans, or we could go back to New World.
How many meetings have you been included and sat in on with ADP?
None.
So how do you know you said you had no conversation with ADP?
No.
So where are you getting your information from?
Miranda.
Mayor, do you have anything you'd like to add to this? Oh.
Go ahead.
No, please. All I was going to say was I appreciated the information that you shared over the past week, and I was hoping that you guys had a plan because I thought my understanding from the previous meeting was you were to come up with a plan as well as Miranda for moving forward. So
to address a few things, and obviously Mr. Watts isn't the payroll person for the auditor's office, and it I'm not surprised that he doesn't know, or has been in contact with ADP, nor would I expect that. But having been involved in that process over the last year almost now, I know they do benefits. I think Miranda had mentioned us going on to their HR module of 2 or 3, 4 months ago, and I think the comment was made to her, until you show city council that the payroll part works, I wouldn't go ask for more money for something else, I think is exactly the conversation. I did talk to the payroll clerk the other day after last Monday's meeting, and he suggested if you have questions, go ask him. I had questions, so I went and talked to Jeff a little bit, and because one of the things that kept bothering me was about time bank accruals. And ADP does do time bank accruals, obviously, and we all figured that they do. Jeff told me they didn't. So again, I don't blame Jeff. I think he's just his knowledge, Jeff from the auditor's office.
It's my understanding from the emails that they would have been accruing this the entire time, but they never got the original balances? Is
There were
that?
several emails that went back and forth prior to going live that the auditor's office would have to give them the accrued balances as of a certain date,
Yep.
just prior to going live, so they could be moved over into that system. And from what I read in the emails, that never happened. So when you look up when any of them look up their time banks in ADP now, it shows maybe what they've accumulated thus far this year, and maybe not even that, because it's not accumulating correctly. So I did want to read, I did send out an email to City Council on this past Sunday, after having gone through last week and reviewing a lot of my emails from ADP and emails with Miranda. I'll just read the email if that's okay.
Please.
So this was sent out to all council people and my senior staff, that I wanted to pass along my activity after last Monday's meeting and hearing for the first time that from the auditor that ADP was a disaster and she wanted to get rid of it. For clarity, I was involved early in February 2025 when we all decided collectively, including the auditor's office, to go with ADP. This was after demos that they provided and us deciding that it would work for us and save the city some money. After I signed the contract in late February, I did not have much to do with the implementation. Payroll's not run out of my office, nor am I part of payroll. It's all run out of the auditor's office. I did not get involved again until late August when ADP began reaching out to me after several postponements of the go-live dates and issues with getting in touch with the auditor in regards to issues that were needing to be addressed. I also pushed for group meetings with all the department heads and their clerks to hear and understand firsthand the issues that they were facing with ADP. After last Monday's meeting, I sent a video clip from the meeting to ADP of the response by Auditor McGinnis after being asked how ADP was going. Attached, you will find several emails explaining the ADP side of the situation after the team reviewed the video and concerns expressed by the auditor. You will also find an email from Gina Love from Westerville Finance Department, which was listed as a reference back when before we ever purchased ADP, and we talked with her at length, and they use ADP and were very happy with the service. And they also extended the opportunity for our auditor's office to call them if they had any questions or concerns or how they do a certain thing. Ms. Love was this is also the person that we attempted to get Auditor McGinnis to reach out to in October when she was having many issues and questions from the departments, and she declined to do so. I've also attached an email that came in last week from a citizen that seems very versed on ADP and our current situation in the auditor's office. He asked some very specific questions. Our ask to the auditor was she took considerable amount of time to answer all of those questions each time she was asked. I found some of the answers to be very interesting. I believe we have been told that ADP does not track time banks, which we already talked about, and have since found out that they do track time banks, and it is part of our system. Had we inputted the correct information and kept up with it, like watering, when you have to feed and water something in order to keep it going, and if we don't do that on our end, it won't continue to do that. I'm also aware that W-2s, there was an email sent that those would be problematic if they didn't get certain information by a week ago Friday, I think. To my understanding, they still have not gotten that information. So I'm not sure where we're going to be at with W-2. And after going through this whole past week, we can say, go back to New World, that's the solution. But really, we had trouble with New World when we were using that system too. There were times where the taxes weren't being taken out of their check, and one officer had like an $11,000 bill, I think, that they wanted him to pay because the taxes weren't taken out. So there was a lot of problems even back then where people got overpaid or didn't get paid the right amount. The time banks were probably better because it was part of our system. So I'm honestly not sure where we go from here. As I've stated, I have no control over the auditor's office and what they do or do not do. Payroll is the job function of the auditor's office. And I guess it should be her decision on what direction we take from here, or what direction she feels is best for the city and her office and what they might be able to maintain. I don't know. I can offer the opinion. That's all I can do is offer the opinion because it's not in my department. And my opinion is that we stay with ADP, like thousands of other municipalities across this country that use ADP, and use it without problems. Even the lady in Westerville said when they went live, they had a few quirks here that they had to fix, but all in all, it was a very good experience and continues to be for them. I would think that we should stay with ADP, make it an all-hands-on-deck type situation within the auditor's office and make it a priority and get it fixed. I think that ADP has been very receptive every time that we've emailed back and forth. I sent you guys the emails that they sent back explaining each little nuance, and generally it was because we didn't provide them something or continually change something that they had to go in and change. So I don't know. I mean, my honest answer standing here today is I think ADP's the best route, being that we're already in it. And I think it can work well just like it does everywhere else. But we have to have the resources committed here to make that happen.
Questions?
I don't think so.
I did want to add one more thing. So I had sent an email to the auditor, probably midweek, saying, look, let's get together before Monday's meeting. I'd like to hear what your opinion is as far as what you think we're going to do moving forward. We could have that discussion, and I never got a response.
And I can confirm that because I was CC'd on that email, and there was no response from the auditor's office.
I do have a question. I want to try to find out what we can do now to take care of these people out here, because they're the ones that's suffering for either a bad system or incompetence or whatever. So is there anything that we can do now to get these guys their pay and get them straightened up?
I think there is another option. I think we could look for a third-party contractor or contract with somebody that can come in and fix our ADP problems. Somebody that has a lot of knowledge with the system. But again, then we're just paying somebody else to do what should be done in the auditor's office to begin with. So, I mean, that is an option. I can't say because I haven't been able to speak with her about if we go back to New World. What kind of a process is that? Is it a long, involved process to try to go back to New World, or I don't know. And then, so, reverting back a year again,
So
we're in this situation because there was only one person that could do payroll in the auditor's office.
Right.
Nobody else was ever trained. The lady gave her 2-week notice. At the end of 2 weeks, we were going to be without a payroll person. So in the interim, Auditor McGinnis did the payroll. Amongst all the other 4 or 5 years of reconciliations that we don't have done, she has all kinds of other stuff she could be doing besides payroll. I don't know why she would burden herself with payroll.
In terms of contract with ADP, what would the repercussions be for backing out now?
So working with the mayor's administration, having just briefly reviewed the contract itself, I would say it's minimal. But if we take a step back and reflect where we were when many of us, if not all of us, learned last week for the first time that the city auditor elected to her position had decided that she wanted to set ADP aside and revert to New World, as the mayor's reference. That was the first that I had heard that statement. And we must remind ourselves, the reason we're here tonight is to have provided the auditor for the city of Marion the opportunity to take the week and then appear tonight to explain to you, the council person and the committee people, what the plan of action is in regards to ensuring that our payroll is accurate and complete. And as we all see, the auditor's not here. I'm going to jump ahead. You know, there's one more opportunity. This committee meets on its regular night next Monday evening at 6:30, and it's essentially a last opportunity for the auditor to appear as requested by the council members of this committee and other council members to inform us what her plan of action is. So I know that's not the question you asked. The question was, what is the ramifications of terminating the ADP contract? I'm sure we can negotiate our way out if that's the choice that's best for all of us in this room right now. But I'm not convinced it's the right choice for all of us in this room, especially since the auditor knows what we were asking of her, and maybe she's got a good reason for not being here tonight. Let's accept that. Maybe that's the case. But we meet again, you meet again next Monday night at 6:30. It's our last opportunity for her as a city auditor to appear before you and tell you what the best course is and what her plan of action is, because as has been repeated before, the auditor for the city of Marion is responsible to process the payroll for the city accurately and completely. And we know that job's not getting done. We are entitled to know what the plan is and then make a rational, reasonable decision based upon information we have at that time on what choice to make on behalf of all of us, employees, citizens, our community.
When is your next pay period, Chief? So when would the next paycheck be?
Friday.
This Friday.
So what reassurance do these folks have that they're... That's tremendous.
I have one more thing. So we went one step further. We're trying to figure out, wrap our heads around this, trying to look for alternative plans. We talked to somebody from Marion Technical College, had very long, in-depth conversation, a meeting with him. He came to City Hall, explained to us that they use ADP, that they had some issues when they switched over, but it was a pretty easy fix for them to do that. They were also contracted by another college to go do the same thing for them. So they're basically a public entity that are using ADP flawlessly now. And they have offered us the help of trying to come in and get ours to the point of where it's working properly. So that is another avenue that we can explore. I think we have another meeting this week on Thursday to talk more in depth about that. There's even been some suggestion of a couple interns to maybe come in and help do that. Again, these are things we shouldn't have to be doing, but to answer their questions, that's what we got to try to do to make it work. To answer your question, I have no idea what this week will bring. No idea.
Sulu Kelly, 365 East Farming. Just a simple question, and it's kind of open-ended. Will more people in the office to do some of the work help?
No,
No?
no.
Okay,
It's training the people she has in there to do the work.
all right,
Be the best help.
thank you.
Gentlemen,
I was on the phone quite a bit today. Do I need to say who I am?
Yes.
please.
Greg May, City Sanitation Streets Department Superintendent. Been back and forth quite a bit with this. Part of the problem, I believe, is the base rates aren't set up right. The base rates for our guys, you have to have your CDL premiums and your longevities into your base rate to get your overtime figure, to get your hourly figure. That's not set up in this. They have different line items that they're trying to add it into, and it's not figuring in right. We keep communicating that it needs to be added in as the base rate. That would solve a lot of the problem as far as the overtime calculations and things that are, now the premiums, the OPERS and that stuff, that's not from us. We just do payroll. So just the paycheck part, not the accruals, not the other,
You just do the hourly.
yeah. But the hourly stuff, if the base rate's in there from the start, it all falls in line. So they said they had to have the base rate without the longevity, without the CDL premiums in it from the start, and that's causing all kinds of problems. I don't understand why it can't be put in there like that. Now, my pay, I've had OPERS not withheld, I've had too many taxes taken out. I mean, and I'm the superintendent. I call, I email, I get no answers. If I do get answers, it's from Jeff, and some of the answers he can't give me because he's not
In the loop.
in the loop. I get our guys, they come to me, I have to call them for overtime. When their overtime pay's wrong, they come in, but they're all like, what's this gonna be? You know, my pay is already backed up, not fixed from before. So it creates morale problems and just keeps snowballing. We do the payroll before we send it, and it's correct except for certain things that we're trying to get tweaked, and they keep coming back with answers that don't work.
Who's they? Miranda,
Auditors.
the auditor's office?
Jeff,
Okay.
because I don't get calls back from Miranda or emails. I've got several emails. I've copied a lot of folks in on my emails. I don't get any answers.
Nobody does. I know I did come up Friday and she was not in on Friday, so.
One is CDL. To add the premium in, they have a job line in the payroll. You drop it down, you can add the CDL in. But if that person has an upgrade for that day, you can't add the upgrade and the CDL in at the same time. CDL has to be in at the beginning, at the base rate. Then you can add that upgrade in with no problem. But you can't have both in that same line, and they're trying to figure it out now. And then the overtime, they put all these in. One had a CDL on it because we added it in. The longevity, they told me that ADP adds the longevity in after they get it. That should be added in our end. Should be there in front of us.
Is it by contract though? Do they have, I guess that's
The
my
contract
question.
states that your longevity is part of your base rate. Your CDL is, to an extent, it's just not overtime, right? But you get it, you just don't get overtime, time and a half for your CDL. You get time and a half for your longevity, that should be part of your base rate, and CDL should be up to 80 hours.
Can't answer it for you, Greg.
We don't get the answers that we need, and it's all in the setup. From what I understand, if it's set up right, it functions right.
That's my understanding also from the emails that I've read from ADP is that it's the initial setup is not correct.
We have sent all this and asked, and like today, if you need help, if you need anything from me, I'll come up there. We've offered, I don't know how many times, send them everything we can send them to try to get it hashed out for these guys, because we see firsthand at Christmas time when they don't get their pay that they work for. So, that's all I got.
I have a quick question, just so I know, understand right. When you talk about you sending stuff and it's right, you're sending it to the auditor's office and
We
then
do
it's...
payroll.
Uh-huh.
They clock in, we go through payroll, we make sure it's correct on our end. Make sure that they're getting their upgrades when they're needed. Make sure they're getting their CDLs. Well, that was supposed to be added in. From what I was understood, it was added in the first pay. Then the pay after that, we had to physically add it in, and we didn't know that. Then they didn't have it in there, so they had to create it and put it in the job drop down. So then we have to enter it in. But these people that get upgrades, you can't enter both of those in, so they're trying to figure that out now.
So the breakdown then is between the auditor's office and ADP, right?
They
Somewhere in
said
there.
that a lot of the stuff that, when we get it done, we send it to the auditor, they send it to ADP, and they do it.
Okay.
They do it. They figure overtime. They get the figures on what the overtime is, they figure it and send it back. That should be in front of us before we send it. The amounts that I had today didn't add up, and I asked why, and I didn't get an answer.
Was it a check register that you were looking at, or was it?
It's all the time. It goes through, you get all your totals, say the totals over here. Some of them had CDL in it, none of them had longevity. They told me longevity's added in through ADP. I don't understand why, it should be in there from the start. You should be able to see it. The CDL premium's added in if we add them in. That should be part of the base rate too. The shift differential, they get a shift differential at night for working at night. They told me that they add that in too. It should all be there, that we see it before we send it to them. That way we know that it's all right. I asked them where they get this amount on the overtime. Because it did, anyway I figured it, even with the upgrades with the longevity, it didn't figure out right. They said that ADP does that and they send it back. To me, we do the pay, we send it to them, they pay the guy. Not they do the figuring of that.
My understanding is we calculate the hours,
We send them all
and we
back.
send that all to them, and the pay and all that is calculated by ADP via the contracts.
Supposed to, they figure out the money part.
Right. And
Then
then
when
they,
they can send it back, it's wrong.
so they're sending, ADP is sending it back for verification through the auditor's office?
I don't know how that part works once it leaves me. I can't get many answers, so.
I don't think we're gonna get any answers tonight either.
Well, I have a comment. So I've been in talks with Greg, of course, and I kind of know what they're doing. I kind of want to paint a picture of, you guys are aware the street and sanitation department is one of our largest departments that we have here. Okay, Jody back there, you can't see her, there she is waving. Jody and Greg have put, amongst all their work they already do, they have to play this for all their employees because they care about their employees so much that they're figuring out exactly what they should get so they can cross-reference, and every single time it's wrong. Now you tell me, is that something that should be put on the burden of all of our departments to figure out their own pay and what it should be, and then try to email the auditor's office and not get a response?
One employee was $2.07 off, under what he's supposed to get. With all of his upgrades, he would only get $1.81 on top of that. So they were more into his regular pay than his upgrades would. They're saying they add these upgrades in later. That didn't make sense. That's why I said how they get that number is beyond me. The other stuff you could figure. The other stuff you can kind of see what's missing.
Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
State your name, please.
My name is David A. Garrick. I'm with AFSCME Council 8. I represent the the members in the collective bargaining with the sewer department, the street department, everything like that. I was asked to be here today to basically brief you on my end on where we stand on this. Mr. Norris and myself have been in constant contact over this matter. We have filed grievances to try to remedy this. I think from my perspective, we want to keep the relationship we have. You know, we don't have the relationship with council, but we have the relationship with the administration. I was introduced to the service director today, and I assured him that if there's anything that he needed from our agency or from the union itself, I would be more than happy to help. As I sit here and I listen to this and I hear what's going on, I hearken back to probably 4 years ago, 3 years ago. We were in a similar situation with this auditor who was replacing a previous auditor who left us a train wreck to begin with. Now, forgive me, this is not something new. We've had peril with this auditor for as long as I can remember, as long as I've been a staff rep. So I guess from my perspective, we are willing to work with the city's administration to work a way through as opposed to being a problem. Now, I have the sanctity of the collective bargaining agreement to preserve and the membership's livelihoods. I mean, I don't know of any member in this galley here today who can afford to miss a paycheck or afford to have their life or their health insurance lapse or their retirement. You know, it's my understanding from speaking with Mr. Norris that we haven't paid into either OPNF or PERS over some time. I'm sorry, madam, but I don't see this as being a new topic. This is something that's been plaguing us for 3-4 years now. Mm-hmm. So just know that my office and ASME Council Aid is willing to help in any way that we can to continue to have a strong relationship with the city's administration.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more questions, concerns, the only thing I can do is offer my apologies and let you know that I am on this too with the mayor and the directors to try to get this resolved. I too am getting no response from the auditor's office. I have come up here physically and she is not available, she's not even in, and I will continue to come up here every day if I have to and work with the administration and with ADP, communicating. I'm on all the email threads, I'm CC'd on everything. So I know exactly what the mayor has asked and the answers, and I know what the auditor has not replied to. I know that doesn't answer your question, but at this point, there's nothing more this committee can do other than to be vigilant and try to stay diligently on the auditor's office to get this resolved. So with that being said, I'm going to adjourn this meeting so that we can go on to council. We're adjourned at 6:18.